Hello, everyone. We want to take this opportunity to say thank you. As you grow at the Golden Boot, so do our needs, but we cannot do it without you. We ask that you continue to like our posts, share our content, and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, and other social media platforms. You may also visit thegoldenboot.com for the latest merch. If you would like to make a financial donation, you can do so through Cash App at @GoldenBoot or through PayPal at paypal.me/GoldenBoot. We look forward to bringing you more laughs, knowledge, and entertainment. And again, thank you for your endless support. Sincerely and respectfully, the Golden Boot team.
The views and opinions expressed in the Golden Boot podcast are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Golden Boot podcast as a whole.
Y'all ready to get rolling? Quiet on the set. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the HBCU Hour. It's your boy Pooh Bell. I almost said the muscle member. I got my boy Ant Petty Murphy in the building. But nah, he not with us tonight. Take care, Ant. Take care of your business. But we do have a lot of special guests tonight. If you saw the intro, you did see our first guest. We're gonna bring him up in a minute. We're gonna talk a lot about these spring games. But let me shout out to the people in the chat. Rob Smith jumped in this thing, said first, and you was. The NFL kid said, yo, he here for the PNP, or here from PNP. Then Top Dog said PNP on the map. Appreciate y'all coming in, jumping in. Jess in the building. What's good, Jess? Then my man Melanated Righteously said peace and blessings. What's good, man? Hope everybody's doing well this evening. Ready to be entertained. Let me write this down real quick. But before we get started, man, want to give a special shout out to our sponsors, Bet Online. BetOnline.ag is your number one source for all your basketball info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds, news, and info for everything March Madness and NBA this year, from the Final Four to the NBA playoffs. BetOnline is your sports information headquarters this season. If you love sports info, score, news, and podcasts, you can find everything at BetOnline. We're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info. Head to the website, that is betonline.ag, today to use your mobile phone, your mobile device, to get in on the action. Be sure to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. Ladies and gentlemen, bring it to HBCU Hour from North Carolina A&T. Well, they say they got the greatest homecoming on earth. That's what they say. We're gonna find out one day. We're gonna find out. We're gonna visit all of them. But we got our man David from PNP, that's Panther Nation PC, joining us tonight. Dave, welcome to HBCU Hour. How you doing this evening, man? Hold on, I'm doing this solo. I ain't used to doing this. Hold on, there we go.
Look, man, you got noises. Like, we used to have noises on PNP. We at some point we're gonna bring them back. We just haven't had a reason to do it quite yet.
Yeah, I had to get my people in here. You know, usually, you know what I'm saying, it's a two-man crew, you know, working these issues, but here by myself tonight. But Dave, man, how you doing,
look,
man?
I'm doing good, man. You know, it's another day in paradise. Can't complain at all.
That's what's up, man. We talked before the show. I was looking at you, saying at your setup behind you. I know that's not. Is that a Celebration Bowl game? It looks like it. That's
No,
Street
it's not a
Fighter.
Celebration Bowl game. I do have a Celebration Bowl banner, but it's not pictured. It's over here. But it has the 3-time HBCU national champion. I bought it in 2018. I did not get the one that says the 4-time national championship. But yes. So, but yeah, But now I got a nice little arcade back here, man. So whenever I want to relax, I got everything set up down here. The screen in front of me has my Xbox and a Switch here. PS5 upstairs, and behind me I got a couple arcade machines. Some online, some not.
That's what's up. Dave, man, let's go ahead and get started, man. Tell us, man. Went to the spring game. Of course, y'all spring game was April 1st. It wasn't on April 15th like everybody else in the world.
Everybody else's.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting this weekend. With everybody in the world.
It was like
HBCU.
14 or 16 of them are on the 15th.
Yeah, I think, as a matter of fact, I think you broke that down. And at the time we didn't have all the games, and it was 13, and then I think 5 more got added, and a few more got corrected, and they were all on April 15th. So go figure.
Yo, like April 15th used to be known as tax day, and I think it still is known as tax day when it's like not a weekend day. This year tax day falls on the 18th. I know because I tend to wait until that day when I owe to pay them. So so I don't know why us HBCUs are infatuated with tax day. Yeah. Like that wouldn't be the day I want to have a day, but Yeah.
And I'm glad you put that out there. So people who are listening, it is April 18th this year. You have until file your taxes. But let's jump into this, man. Tell us about the spring game, man. Y'all are coming in under a new head coach for the first time in 5 years? Am I got that correct?
Yes.
Oh.
Yep.
Coach
Vincent Brown.
Vincent Brown.
Vincent Brown, the Undertaker.
Yeah. Coming out of William Mary, but just tell me, and I think I asked you, how was it? Was it the feel of the players? Was it like a different feeling? Were they a little bit more upbeat? Was it, organizational wise, a little different?
The one thing I realized when I first, let me be clear for the disclaimer's sake. This is my first spring game. Okay. And one thing that I learned, even throughout the process getting to the spring game, the first thing I learned is that the concept of being the seriousness about the academics was clear. He was not letting folks play if they didn't have their grades where they needed to be from an academic standpoint. And that was pretty much seen, right? And you could tell that by the quarterback play. Eli pretty much scored on every drive that he was on. When Eli played, he scored on every drive. Can't say the same for Hooker. Can't say the same for Yeager, even though Hooker played decently well as well. But you could tell that there was a distinct difference. And then also when I went down there, I talked to some of the players, and they pretty much said, yeah, Eli pretty much had the whole spring to himself, because he was one of the only ones that were eligible. So it's pretty much going to be the Eli Brickhammer show. But as a whole, I love the fact that they're throwing the ball down the field a little bit more. I love the fact that, I think a lot of folks have been concerned about the fact that Tootin went into the portal. But the moment that I saw Tootin run 100 yards in North Dakota State, I knew he was going to the portal. And then he did it again against Duke the following week. I knew he was going at that point. But with one thing that A&T would always carry is running backs. We're never short on running backs in North Carolina A&T. And so when Dixon and Graves were thinking about hopping into the portal, and they pulled out of the portal because they knew it was an opportunity for them guys. So, and they showed out. Both of them showed out during the spring game. So offensively, I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to be fine. I think it's, like I said, it's going to be Eli Brickhandler's show unless things change between now and September. That being said, defensively, I saw some really good things. Our secondary's ready. Our linebackers need some work, but that was expected considering the losses that we had. And our defensive line, we probably could use some help there as well. But I think we're going to be able to fix those things as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens down the line. But I think the big thing that was a big push that I've noticed going into the spring game was that Coach Brown had no hesitation to sit players if they weren't academically eligible, academically ready. There are certain standards that they want. And it looked like it was kind of not doing it. It started to go a certain direction towards the end of the Sam run, but not to the point of being in trouble, but
right
to the point where it needs to keep an eye on to be like, all right, we gotta correct it.
Gotcha. Coach Brown, defensive-minded coach. Defensively, did the how did the guys look? I mean, I know you said, saying Eli was, up and down the field. Was he just that good, or was it like the defense was kind of, lacking?
Well, I'll be honest, man. When the game first started, they didn't really play too much Eli, and then I learned later that the reason why is because they wanted to see the other guys. So the defense looked ahead, but whenever Eli was playing, Eli kind of did what he wanted. But overall, I mean, the secondary, like they got, from the secondary standpoint, I mean, they got Prunty, who's Prunty should get drafted going into this next upcoming year.
Right.
He's legit. Every conference that he's played in, he's played at a high level. When he played for Kansas, when he played in the Big South, when he played and when he played for the MEAC, he's big time. So from that standpoint, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be big time when he plays for the CAA next season. So I'm not worried about Prunty. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one goes.
Yeah.
But defensively, I think we just got to get beefier up front. I'm very concerned from that standpoint. I'm gonna be honest. Based on what I've seen, we got to get we got to get beefier up front. That's the only concern I have.
Okay. With that being said, that you say that's the pretty much the only concern. Size. Let me ask this, because it's those of you who are regularly attending HBCU nightly know that there's a slight little wager that you have on this upcoming season with the CAA. As far as what is it that you guys have to win? What, 3 games? Actually, you have a couple of wagers, don't?
No, I only got one. I got one officially right now. Me and Markham is still trying to hammer it down. We're gonna do something. It's looking like the one with me and Markham is gonna probably end up being, if we I told him we should do like opponents. Like both of us is playing Townsend and Richmond, so we will do the records off of those 2 games.
Okay. So
we're gonna figure that out because he's playing. Like I told him, I was like, you're pretty much halfway into the CAA, bro. You're already playing 4 CAA teams, so you're pretty much halfway there. Like Morgan State's trying to deny it, but y'all are slowly but surely just taking the many steps there. You know what I'm saying? You already facing half your schedule is against them. So
with that being said, second year in the CAA. What are some things that you?
First year
got some of the. Well,
this is the first year football, second year for everything else.
Okay,
this is our first year in football.
Okay. So, okay. I didn't realize. I thought
this has been like, look, so for the folks who don't realize, so we left the MEAC to go into the Big South,
right? And I thought y'all left the Big South and went
to the CAA. So we played 1 full year in the Big South. And then we left the Big South to go to the CAA. We decided to stay in the Big South for football only and do CAA for everything else. That was last season. So we've been playing CAA and everything else. Volleyball, softball, baseball, basketball, everything else has been CAA. So this season is the first year that we're going to be playing CAA football. Because CAA football is separate. About half the teams in CAA football are football only. A lot of people don't realize that. So when when folks get mad at me when I say that, hey man, the CAA is really a basketball conference, people get defensive. But the reality it kind of is. Like half the teams, like College of Charleston don't have a football team. They pay their basketball coach $1.5 million. You're on mute. But y'all think you probably know that. Okay, you know that. All right. So they pay their basketball team $1.5 million. So it all depends on how you look at it. And funny you say that. We just officially announced that we got our new basketball coach today. And
that was Thursday. Yeah. Let's jump to that real quick. New coach. What do you know about him? How do you feel about the hire?
Monte Ross, I like the hire. It pretty much is the same trend that they did with when they hired Vincent Brown, right? Okay. And it's funny you say that because they did a Aggie podcast prior to this show, and they asked AD Earl Hilton about it, and the big thing that he said was, being an HBCU grad is not a requirement to be a head coach here, but that's something that I look for because I don't want to lose that. So Vincent Brown, Mississippi Valley State alum, has coaching experience in the CAA. I also coached at Howard, won a national championship at Richmond as an assistant coach. Coached all over the place. Monte Ross, Winston-Salem State alum. Played basketball with Big House Gaines. Was the teammate of Stephen A. Smith. So might see his screaming behind somewhere at our basketball games at some point. But he also coached at Delaware, St. John's, and other places. But while he was coaching that, he coached at Delaware for over a decade. He won that conference. He won the CAA. Took him to the NCAA tournament. So he knows how to win in that conference. So he understands the conference. So I like the hire from that standpoint. I think the biggest concern I always have when it comes to A&T men's basketball is the level of patience.
All right.
Just like anything else, right?
It's so much I want to. And I'm sorry for those of you watching. We going through this kind of fast. We've got, like I said, we've got several guests we're gonna bring on to talk about different spring games. But before we let you go, let's talk about the Panthers, Carolina Panthers. Now, this gonna be a faux pas because a lot of our watchers are more Saints fans. But let's talk about the Carolina Panthers. Traded up, number 1 pick.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys do with that?
Until
is that CJ Stroud? Is that Bryce?
Until yesterday, I thought it was Stroud. Yesterday, I thought it was Stroud, but now I'm starting to think it's gonna be Bryce Young.
Okay. Weaponry around him. What do you do? Because DJ Moore was pretty much it for the most part. If I'm not mistaken, y'all got rid of Robbie mid-season last year.
Yeah, Robbie wasn't good for us last year either.
Yeah. I mean, no, I'm not going to argue with that. But
what did he do when he went to Arizona? But change his name again. Just saying. Yeah. He ain't on the team now, is he? Just saying. We still paying him, though.
Weapons, though. What do you guys look at? How y'all looking?
We picked up Adam Thielen, but I didn't expect him to be a number 1. I like the pickup because of the experience. He's a phenomenal route runner from that standpoint, but he could definitely be a 2. And we also picked up DJ Chalk. Now, if DJ Chalk can stay healthy, he can ball. There's no question about that. We got a speed guy.
I completely agree.
Yeah, if he can stay healthy, he can ball. And I think we're not giving Terrace Marshall Jr. enough credit. Terrace Marshall Jr. really hasn't had enough opportunity. He was balling once they got rid of that other coach that we don't talk about that's out in Nebraska. So,
hey, I don't know if
he got out of there.
See on my shoulder, yeah. Tell me about Terrace, yeah.
Yeah. So like, I think Terrace. I think he has the opportunity to take the next step this upcoming season. So for me, I expect a lot out of him coming up this season. So I think we're still going to probably draft another wide receiver coming into this draft. Mm-hmm. A lot of folks want us to take one with the 39th pick. But in my humble opinion, we need to start thinking about who we should be taking. Like, we need edge rushers. We need a linebacker. There's other picks that we need. There's other places where we need to think about 39. But if the white wide receiver falls, like Isaiah Flowers, if they make the decision to go with C.J. Stroud and his teammates sitting there at 39, I have no problem taking him. So it all depends. Josh Downs, I like him as well. It all depends who's sitting there at 39. But if there's a couple guys I probably would prefer, like if Jack Campbell's sitting there at 39, it's going to be hard for me not to take him at 39.
Yeah, it's going to be y'all definitely going to have plenty of options at wide receiver. I think this class is pretty much loaded. It's going to be some guys that fall that should not fall this far.
I was going to talk about this tomorrow on the live show, but I guess the talk of the town right now is there's a lot of teams that only have one wide receiver as a first-round grade. That tells me that there's going to be a lot of wide receivers chilling. Yeah. When we're sitting at 39, which I'll take that personally if that's the case.
All right.
But, I mean, overall, man, like, I know there's a lot of Saints fans in the room, and I'm just going to let you Saints fans know this. Y'all ain't winning this division. I'm just going to be clear when I say this. Y'all are not winning this division. Y'all are not winning this division. The division's ours. It's going to be ours for a little while. Just remember that your coach is Dennis Allen, and just keep that in mind. Just remember, don't think Derek Carr. Just think Dennis Allen. Just remember exactly. Dennis Allen. That's all you got to do. If you want, you can just swap it with Matt Rule. Well, he's not. Well, I'll give Dennis that. He ain't as bad as Matt Rule, but you can just think you don't have a good coach. It's just, and I can relate because I just sat with a bad one for 2 or 3 years. It's been torture.
God.
Look, man, ever since I started PNP, I've only seen one playoff season. All right? It's been a while. Been suffering for a little while, okay? It's been a minute.
Dave. You had to remind me about
I know
this album.
I have to always remind. Look, listen. Big Q, when we do the round tables, shout out to my boy Big Q. I have to remind him about Dennis Allen, too. Because he talks a lot about all this talent he has, and I have to remind him that he has to coach at some point, and I know who your coach is. I can say that we have the best coach in the division. And he hasn't coached in the division. Yeah, I could say it.
Man, I had to think about who a coach.
Dog, Steve Wilkes might have been the best coach in that division last year. And he showed up halfway through the season.
Don't get me started about Steve Wilkes and how they did him.
Look,
so,
man,
but anyway,
I wasn't happy about it. But the moment that I knew that the cokehead decided to fire Wright, I knew he was coming to us. Yeah. I knew it was just a matter. It was a matter of time.
Yeah.
Like Wilkes would have to take us to the Super Bowl, bro.
Yeah. No comment.
I'm just keeping it a buck. I know how this works.
Yeah, the NFC South gonna be terrible for a while. But man, Dave, man, I appreciate it. I hate that.
I know you got a lot of A&T questions.
Yeah, we gonna get to them though. We gonna get to them. We definitely gonna have you back, talk with you, get this thing going. But definitely appreciate you coming through and dropping. Let the people know where they can find you.
All right, man. So you can catch me on Twitter. My channel's right here at ChampD1012. I pretty much talk about HBCU sports there. I'll talk mainly Panthers, video games, as you can see behind me, whatever there. But the show is Panther Nation Podcast. We're on YouTube. We're the largest independent show that covers the Carolina Panthers. You can catch us there at Panther Nation Podcast, on Twitter at Panther Nation PC. But we pretty much go live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So just catch us. I'm going solo tomorrow. I'm going to have my boy Giraffe HBCU players, my brother G, Coach G, with me doing the show with me tomorrow since I'm going solo tomorrow. But me and my partner Rashad's been doing this for close to 7 years at this point. It's been a fun ride. You know, we got to interview Steve Smith Sr. So, and that interview's up there for you guys to check out. So just go ahead and check it out. Panther Nation Podcast, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, Dave, I don't want to say because they Panthers, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be
one team in that division's got to make the playoffs, my brother. One team has to make the playoffs. That's the rules.
I'm gonna say this: the NFC South is gonna be who doesn't lose the most. It's not gonna be who wins the most. Who doesn't lose the most? But
8 wins is gonna win that division.
7 might win it, but
7.
We'll see.
Damn near won it last year.
Yeah. But Dave, again, appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. That was our good friend Dave from PNP. That is the Panther Nation PC. Thank you for coming through. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got our boys, got our fellas, the men from Swagging the Food coming through. Welcome, ESPN and my man J Max. Welcome to HBCU. I appreciate y'all coming through, man. Let's do
it. What's up? What's going on?
That's good. J Max, man. Welcome. Been trying to get in. We know schedule always conflict. Glad to, what I'm saying, meet you. I just want to let you know. I don't know if you've seen it, but I'll let you know. G ate all your portion of the chicken at SWAT Media Day. And and if you wanted seconds, he ate them too.
God, toe it up.
My boy. He got there.
Toe it up.
Well, fellas, man, welcome spring game. You know what I'm saying? Alcorn, Southern. Well, at least one of y'all school. I heard real good things about it. about the spring game.
Which
The
one?
other school, they was like, I don't know what Dooley doing down there. That's all I'm saying.
We got only time will tell.
Yeah. But man, tell us, let me start with you, G, because we did hear like really good things about Tyler Macon. What saying he might be what saying what y'all was missing last year. Said the offense flowed very well. I didn't hear much about the defense, but tell us what what you saw.
I thought the defense stole the show. Defense was much better than offense, in my opinion. I thought we called that crackhead D. Everybody to the rock. Everybody get to the rock. We call it crackhead D. So I thought our defense returned mostly everybody. The whole defensive line came back. So it was just dominant. It was just, and we split the teams, though we drafted teams. So our offensive line, I feel like it's not that deep. And so they even gave defense another advantage with our defensive line being so deep and veteran. They just dominated the whole game, in my opinion. They just dominated. That defensive line was. We had freshmen out there. We had a dude, Kayvon Henderson. He a freshman. He supposed to be a prom right now. He's 17 years old, and he had a good spring game. So I thought the defense stole the show. The score was 7-2. So I thought the defense stole the show.
Okay. Jay, tell us about Southern. What did it look like? Because all jokes aside, last year, the story that most people, so outside of the program, just kind of outside looking in, they kept saying was the wrong quarterbacks playing, and then come SWAC championship, the right quarterback played, but it was too late. Yeah. But what did you see at the spring game that saying maybe that was encouraging?
Yeah, it was encouraging that he moved on, but we wish him the best. But I will say, as far as being at the spring game, we're in a big quarterback battle. We got 3 quarterbacks that I think, talking to Dooley, he said if he had to pick a starter tomorrow, it'd probably be Blood. We got Noah. Noah has a strong arm. That's the transfer that's from New York but came from Grambling. Noah Biden. He got a strong arm, but he trusts his strength instead of his reads. If that makes sense, like if I know I got a strong arm, I'm gonna try to get it through there instead of reading your progressions and stuff like that. We got a transfer kid from UAB who's from Baton Rouge. I think he just doesn't know the playbook yet. He doesn't know the playbook. The bright side is, I think when G get back on here, I'm gonna ask him the stat for it. But another thing that we need, I'm gonna backtrack, come back to that. Another thing that was a weakness was our O-line. But I think that's just all across the SWAC. Okay. It's hard to find good O-linemen. So that was the weakness, and our second team. Now on defense, we nice. That first team D, they ready, but you could see a big drop off when that second team came. It was like come on now. So we just like G said, for our D-line nice. I'm really shocked. Coach did a good job of developing these linebackers we have. But G, what's the quarterback name? What's his ranking? The one from Scotlandville?
Zay. He was number 1 FCS recruit. Zay.
Yeah. Zay, so we got him. So I'm interested in seeing when he come on how that's gonna shake up the quarterback battle, and he'll left it too.
Okay.
I know I ain't Southern, but I think Zay might start. I'm high on Zay. I watched him all them years at Scotlandville. I think Southern got a steal for Zay.
I feel like that quarterback room is wide open. Wide open.
Let me ask this. Running back. Alcorn, if I'm not mistaken, the scuttlebutt on the streets, the word on the street. Running backs look good. It's like all they was like, hey, Alcorn gonna be all right. What say you? I guess I put it like that.
Say it again.
So what you say? What say you?
Oh yeah, I mean our running backs. We got a real good running back room. Nico Duffy, Jarvion Howell. This year we kind of moved Nico Duffy. He was out because he's in line to be our leading rusher all time at Alcorn. But Jarvion came in last year, and it's just like you got to play Jarvion. You got to play him. So we've been moving Nico around. We had him in the slot, return game, had him on some jet sweeps. So we've been moving him around. And we got another running back, Javante Leatherwood, who ran hard too in the spring. So I think running back's one of our deepest rooms all together. I think Jarvion might have had 4 carries. Everybody like, get him out. We know what he can do. Get him out of here. Don't get him hurt. Get him out of there. So he might have had 4 or 5 carries. That was it.
All right. Let me ask this, Jay. A lot of teams built their roster differently. Some people use the portal, some people use JUCO, some people did, you know what I'm saying, let's bring in high school, you know what I'm saying, freshmen, high school players and just develop them. How did Southern, you know what I'm saying, rebuild their roster?
Dooley's a big JUCO guy. He's a big JUCO guy, transfer portal guy. He like these kids that's I'm gonna put it like this. He likes those kids that we think are already developed. But to me, I'd rather get a freshman in high school and develop him on how I want to coach him, you know.
Gotcha.
But he definitely gonna get in that transfer portal. He gonna work that system. But he's been that type of way from his days at Grambling, UAPB. That's what he does. He gonna get in that transfer portal in that JUCO world out there. That's what he do.
All right. What about defensive wise? How did Southern look?
Defense, we look good. Like I said earlier, it was just a big drop from first team to second team. Our linebackers, they look excellent. Coach, I forgot his name right now. Who's at Grambling? What's his name? G, help me out.
Ty Graves.
Yeah, Graves. Coach Graves doing an excellent job with those guys. Because last year that was the weakness of our defense. But this year the boys was flying around. But like I say, it's just a big drop from your first to your second team. Once they'll call a blitz with the first team. Pressure. They'll call it blitz with the second team. Like, it's still 4 people. Where the pressure coming, you know? So yeah. It's just a big drop. Now, if we stay injury free, we're gonna be dangerous. But you know, you gotta have some good depth behind that.
All right. G, what's some for y'all, man, for Alcorn? What's something that you still think y'all need to work on, or a position group y'all need to, I guess you could say, build up, you know what I'm saying, before, you know what I'm saying, summer workouts come on?
I say wide receivers. We lost 4 wide receivers last year, and in the spring, you know, Mac don't play by them grades, so he held one of our guys out the whole spring, and other guy, lead receiver, Ontario Hunt, he had a little hip a routine surgery, so he didn't play in the spring. So the receivers was what we were lacking at. So we're gonna be in the portal. I'm just gonna be honest. We're gonna be in the portal. We're gonna be getting some. He gave some of the younger guys some time development. He wasn't happy with the way they came through the spring. So we're gonna be in the portal trying to get some receivers, and hopefully we can get some.
All right. Let me. I want to switch this. We can go back to football, but I want to switch this to basketball real quick. Jay, y'all just got a new head coach.
Yeah, we got a new head coach, and I know it's my turn, but man, them Braves up there, they making me nervous. Up there making me nervous.
Busty badass.
Yeah, I saw G post something about, you know what I'm saying. He's like, Bussy, he got something working. So I was like, oh, okay. Someone asked me about that, but I knew y'all got a new head coach. So yeah. My co-host has been he has been clamoring for he was the coach at Scotlandville. God, what's the guy's name? Carlos Sample. There you go. He said that he would love to see him as y'all head coach, but now, you know what I'm saying, y'all got a head coach. He said, but he could still end up on that staff.
Look, that's the word on the street. Yeah. The word on the street is he gonna be on the staff. But a lot of people don't know Coach Sample is our AD's brother, his half brother.
Right.
So I don't know how that'll factor in, how that'll play in if he was to just give him the outright head coaching job. But I will say this new coach that we have with Sample on the bench as well. They've been in that community, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Louisiana is heavy in the AAU world. So they got like a lot, and we got like Jeff Jones, different high school coaches in Louisiana that's like teaming up to make sure we could get some of those highly touted recruits to come to Southern University in Louisiana.
Yeah. A lot of people when we think about Louisiana, a lot of times people think football. They don't look at the basketball side of things. We're starting to see a lot of that talent is starting to come back home. I know that Jalen Cook is leaving Tulane, going back to LSU.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Jordan Wright leaving Vanderbilt, going back to LSU.
Yeah.
But that's not it. I mean, not everybody can go to LSU.
Yeah, Percy Keithson in the portal. I want to say too. Let me fact check that.
He might be.
So that's a lot. Listen, if Southern can get that talent to stay home, yeah, I mean, y'all was in first place for a long time during the season, and then
Hey,
the big bad Braves came and took over, and then all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, out of nowhere, Grambling, yeah,
Old Texas Southern.
they
and old
take,
Texas Southern just do what they do, don't they?
Oh,
They
man.
just wait till the tournament.
Hey, they fell asleep. They ain't wake up till, you know what I'm saying. They was like,
And they won't wake up in the first game against us. I say, now you won't wake up.
Yeah.
Out of all the weeks you want to wake up, you wait till we play us and wake up.
yeah, it's our time. All right, let's go. But yeah, man. All right, we can still back. I just want to talk before we go back, because you did bring up about them big bad break. Gee, tell us about what's some of the things y'all doing on the basketball side.
Oh, we just got another transfer guard. I forgot his first. Gamble is his last name, from Prairie View. He was one of their leading scorers, just committed to us today. Our head coach came from Prairie View, so this is the third year in a row we done stole one of their players from Prairie View. So we got another kid from Prairie View, and we're working on another a big kid, a post player we're trying to get in now. So he just steadily worked. He was actually up for a few jobs, so I was scared at one point, but he went on and came on back. So we excited. Hopefully keep for one more year.
Yeah. It's been a lot of, especially with the transfer portal, it's been a lot of movement. We just saw the kid from what's his name, Jatona. Oh, he came from Florida, but he went to Tennessee State.
Yeah, I saw that.
Big kid. And like I said, people are making moves and like, hey, I'm gonna go home or I'm gonna go somewhere else and play and get on this stage and saying, you know, it's not so much I need to play for Kentucky or Duke. It's more like I'm gonna play for somebody who's competitive and, you know what I'm saying, and still get looks. So I don't know. It's got to be beneficial for HBCUs at this point.
We just got to take advantage.
Got to. We got to sell our culture too. Like I tell G, I forgot what our record was this year against who Northwestern is. What that is? Sunbelt? Who that is?
Southland.
Southland. Oh man, we was either competing or beating a lot of those schools, and we just got to get our kids to see, hey man, look, we could compete. We could hang with those ULMs of the world, those Northwesterns, those McNeese. You know, we could compete. So just give us a shot. Come on home.
Yeah, that Pac-12 SWAC challenge or whatever they had.
Throw them up.
Hey, it's a lot of people might be changing their minds about playing and playing against the SWAC, but yeah, that was definitely beneficial. But man, let me jump back real quick. Football, real quick, before we you know what I'm saying, let y'all go. First off, again, thank y'all for coming through. Appreciate y'all for coming through. What is some? I know you talked about Jay. You talked about the depth. What is some else that you may concern you a little bit? You know what I'm saying, going into summer workouts.
O-line. That O-line. That's the heartbeat of the team, honestly. O-line, and I was critical about this other group on our show the other day, and that's our kicking, our special teams. You know, it's three phases to the game, so it's, you know, offense, defense, and special teams. And the other day, our special teams just was a little rocky. You know, we was, our snaps was high. We wasn't putting it down on field goal. Wouldn't need to come down. My punter, he just wasn't consistent for me. Now he could boot that thing. He could boot it, but we just needed him to boot it consistently. So that's one of the areas, because, you know, if you flip that field, you can win the game easily. You flip that field. A lot of people don't know how big it is when you can flip that field and get that ball all the way down to the other side. Now they got to go 80, 90 yards to get back. That's big. That's big, and those 3 points matter as well. So especially for my parlays, but
you don't know how many bad beats we done had,
man. Because I didn't say about our running back, but we got Kobe Dillon back. So we should have a lot of options. And I like our receivers. I like our running backs. But we got to either have time to throw it or we got to be able to block. And that's just what it come down to. O-line, we got to get right.
All right. G, before we let y'all go, what you most looking forward to summer workouts as far as the team? Something that they improve this, hey, we good?
I'm gonna go just like offensive line.
Okay.
I think that's probably swag wide. Like I said, in the spring game, we kind of split them up, and we already don't have much depth. So once we split them up, it was like, a couple times Tyler Maker was running for his life. But I was just happy to see that he can move. I'm like, okay, he can get out of there and do something with the ball. But a lot of times he's running for his life. But it's good, I think, having a mobile quarterback that's going to take some of the pressure off the offensive line. We hadn't had a mobile quarterback. And I think with Alcorn is when we have a mobile quarterback. And Tyler Maker is electric. He dynamic. He can take it. He can take it 80. He may be one of the fastest players we have on the team. He can fly. So have him back to H0. I think it'll take some pressure off the offensive line, but I still need the offensive line, like I said, to protect and make some holes.
Gotcha. All right, well, fellas, I'm gonna let y'all, you know what I'm saying, plug the SWAC and the food, man. Tell the people where they can find.
Well, that's GSPN. I'm J Max. We got Al do the baseball. So if y'all about SWAC baseball as well, check us out. That's gonna be SWACN SWAC''N on all platforms, right, G?
Yeah, all platforms.
So make sure you put SWAC''N SWACN the food. And really, bro, right now we being professional, but we cuts up on the show now. We cuts up. So if you want some good laughter mixed in with some good info, because we know what we talking about, hey, come check us out. And we definitely want to thank you for having us as well.
Thank you. Always, man, bro.
Y'all know, so G already know he got a seat over at the house, man. He can come through, and y'all talking about y'all being professional. Y'all ain't have to be professional. Yeah, not for us. You know what I'm saying?
Look, we be wondering how clean we can be. We like to just come on and
we got it.
we cut up. We cutting up. We be getting cussed out on TikTok too for stuff we be saying about Deion. So y'all say whatever you want to say. Oh no,
look, who you got your early predictor coming in next season to win the SWAC?
There you go, being messy. There you go.
All right, so
we're gonna call it the way too early prediction.
I wanna lean into the FAMU. I want to lean to the FAMU because I've said it several times. FAMU was always that. If this had happened, they would have did this team. They have been that for the last 2 years. Yeah. I'm starting to believe in this hype over, you know what I'm saying, in Lorman. I'm starting to believe it because somebody was telling. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Zach from Blue Bloods came out. He was like, "Hey, they might be right."
My boy Blue.
Hey,
my boy Blue know what he's talking about now.
Exactly. When he said, I was like, okay. I think the West gonna be wide open still, though. I think it's gonna come down to the last week or two. It ain't gonna be as wild as last year, where it's gonna come down to the Bayou. I don't think it's gonna come to the Bayou, but I think it'll be open. I think the East gonna be competitive. I just don't know for sure. I still think FAMU gonna take it. So, but I think it's gonna be FAMU and Alcorn in the SWAC championship right now. So
I'll take that.
It's just how I feel, man. And I'm tell you who I'm rooting for, and I want to see them. I just don't know if it's gonna happen. That's Texas Southern, Andrew Body and Texas Southern.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he
got him get back healthy. Right now, he ain't played in the spring. He had a little injury, so it's gonna be all about him getting back healthy.
Yeah, he said Big Paul. Yeah,
they gotta get over that hump.
Yeah,
I think they coach know that too.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, fellas, man, appreciate y'all coming through. I will say, Coach E-Rob was right. I'm gonna just say that, throw that out there. And appreciate y'all coming through, man. We're gonna have definitely catch up with y'all, man.
All right, bro.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the fellas from SWAC the Food. All right, next up, I wasn't expecting this, but we got a double header. We're gonna have to bring in two of the best voices of HBCU coverage. We got my man Al B. Score Jamie Walker back with us, and the Abby Award winner himself, Mr. Mo Carter. Welcome back to HBCU All Fellas. Thank y'all for coming through again.
How you doing, man? Thanks for having me.
Hey, listen. So, Mo, I was trying to find I was gonna put a picture of Abby on your picture, but I couldn't. I ain't know what it looked like, so I was gonna put the Oscar on there. I said, you know what? I ain't gonna even do that. I ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, man. You don't want to get me in trouble or whatever, because there are rules and regulations to these things, and people could actually come and do some things to me with that. So appreciate you just keeping it simple.
All right,
and
Jamie.
Look, if you actually want to see what it looks like, just go on my Twitter at MoCarter554. Yeah. Go back a few weeks. There's a lovely picture of that trophy, another lovely picture of my wife and I, and you can actually listen to the speech as well, which was a huge shout out to a lot of people, including the SWAC.
I actually did listen to the speech. I did. Somebody said, "I am SWAC," and I was like, "Ooh, well."
Yep. Shots.
Jamie, what's good, man?
Man, I can't call it, sir. I can't call it. How are you doing, man? I'm just happy to be here and, happy to speak, some Division II football. You know how it is.
I'm good. I'm going to ask this. You just give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Mario Brothers. Should I go see it?
Thumbs up.
All right. We good.
Thumbs up. Yes.
All right, because somebody
Mario
said
Brothers is good. Yes.
Somebody said gave it a bad review, and I was like, I don't know, but that might have been the same person who gave Creed 3 a bad review. Creed 3 was good, in my opinion, at least to me.
Really? I haven't seen it yet, man.
True story. Because I hadn't seen Creed 2, so I was like, I gotta go watch Creed 2 before I see Creed 3, and it's on Amazon Prime, so I went and watched Creed 2 on Amazon Prime, and then got up and went and saw Creed 3. So. And it was well worth it. I would go back and see it again. Okay. Definitely will go back and see it again. But fella, let me get to what I got, ask you guys to be on for. Mo, Coach Maynard. He's had a hard job, and it seems like it's been 4 seasons, but it's just been one without a kill glass, and people have been trying to fill that hole. We saw where you posted. There was some beautiful passes by Xavier Langford. Has he found that chemistry? Does it, is it the competition still there? Or is it kind of like, nah, we're going to stick with him?
Competition is definitely still there, but you have to give your kudos to the quarterback room for creating competition. And then you also have to give kudos to Xavier Langford for taking advantage of his time during the spring to improve in several areas that he needed to do so. I mean, Coach Maynard, gave him a lot of compliments. Coach Jason Mai, the QB coach, also complimented him on taking advantage of the offseason workouts and working on chemistry with the wide receivers and leading the white squad to a 30-8 victory on Saturday, in which they had to brave the elements as well. Of course, if you were paying attention to the Masters over the weekend, you saw how bad the weather was. Well, just think about this. That weather had to come through Huntsville before it went to Augusta, Georgia. So, yeah, it was a rough day on the elements. But, Langford showed out, and you got to give him some props with that. I'm not willing to say he's about to be named the starting quarterback on tomorrow, but he has definitely taken several steps forward to potentially being that starter when A&M takes on Vanderbilt in their season opener.
Taking on Vandy. A year or two ago, I might have been like, A&M got a chance, but Vandy with Clark Lee has changed. They're not Vandy ain't Vandy. They ain't your granddaddy Vandy. So, no. But that should still be a good litmus test for Coach Maynard. Jamie, coming off SIAC championship. Benedict is back. How did Coach Berry have the guys looking?
Well, Mo talked about the weather system that actually came through Huntsville, where I drove smack dab in the middle of it. They weren't even sure if they were going to even play that game because it was supposed to be a bunch of events that went along with it. They canceled most of those, but You know, give Coach Barry his credit. He wanted to see how those fellas would do in those kind of elements. And so they spent about an hour actually playing that game. And what you saw was looking up and down that roster, they of course lost Eric Phoenix to the transfer portal, and he hadn't, you know, caught on with another squad yet. But he has three really good quarterbacks. Xavier Foster is probably the leader in the clubhouse. You know, it's been rumored during spring practice that he's looked the best so far running the squad. But I tell you what, he has a couple of other signal callers too that's fully capable that played the other day in Zayshawn Rice and Kendall McCoy. And when you're looking at them, the way they divided the squads was basically, you know, you take first team offense, first team defense, you know, and just had them go against each other. But really spirited scrimmage. You could see their potential and what they're able to do. I don't think they'll lose too much with a dynamic person like Eric Phoenix was to that squad last year. But they have a lot coming back. They have a very full running back room. Right now, what's in question really is twofold. Number one, they are down 3 offensive line starters. And so, you know, they graduated. So that will have to gel. The other part is really that offensive staff. Their offensive coordinator from last year has gone on to the Kansas City Chiefs now, which is great, is outstanding. So they had to replace running back coach, OC. So, you know, having them gel, but a lot of hiring they did actually, and he spoke of Jonathan Williams, a player he had a coach he coached with at Southern University, is on his staff now. And so, you know, when you're talking about just knowing who Shennis Berry is, hey, you have somebody there that, you know, coached alongside him. He doesn't predict much fall off on the offensive staff. He's just, you know, for him, you know, it's one day at a time, going 1-0, as he continues saying. So I think, you know, right now they look pretty good.
Yeah. Now, Benedict, as good as they were offensively, dominated defensively last year. What did the defense look like coming back this year in year 2?
Flying to the ball, man. Same thing. Those defensive tackles they had, Luber Danellis along with John Hannibal, are coming back. They're replacing some ends, but I tell you what, they have about 8 deep. They're about 8 deep on that defensive line of players that had some experience last year, and you're talking about a full complement of starters. 15 players total, starters, are coming back on that team, and that entire defensive staff is coming back as well. So they already have some continuity there. They are poised to win that SIAC once again. It's just a matter of what they do on the offensive side. But defensively, they're going to be hard to run against. They can rush the passer, and they can defend on the back end as well, with Jaron Kilpatrick coming back as well.
Mo, let me ask this. We mentioned, or you mentioned maroon versus white. How was that broken down? Was it like first team offense versus first team defense, and then or shall I say first team offense paired with second team defense versus first team defense paired with second team offense, or how was that broken down?
All right, so every single thing you just said, none of those things were correct. Yeah, so here's what happens. So last Saturday they had a scrimmage. On Sunday, Coach Maynard was like, I guess you could say, the commissioner of Alabama A&M football, and they held a draft. So he put his offensive coordinator, well, acting OC, and another head defensive guy together, along with the DC and the offensive coach together, and they selected every single player that was on both the maroon or on the white squad. And the way you had to go with it is, let's say the maroon squad selected a running back, then the white squad has to select a running back to kind of keep it even. Doesn't mean it have to be first team, a second team, or a third teamer. It's just you draft, you know, based on what the positions is. And, you know, they went through the draft. And then from there, there were practices through this past week leading up to the maroon and white game. The white team practice on one field, the maroon team practice on another field, and then that's how they all came together. So, for instance, on offense, your offensive line may have the starting center along with maybe the second team guards. The right tackle may be a third teamer, while the left tackle may be a first teamer. And it's a true evaluation of every single person's talent as they go through the motions for the scrimmage. And then it's easier to really give a lot of feedback to groups and individuals. So that's how they do their scrimmage. And really, that's how they've done it, I think, since Coach Manor has been here.
Wow. That's different. I actually like that a lot more. You said acting OC. Coach Taylor still not back, or is he?
Yeah, Coach Taylor has not returned back to campus as of yet. Coach Manager said, "Hey, I'm just giving him a little time or whatever after some things that went off with the XFL, and when he gets back, he gets back. In the meantime, there are other people that are capable of calling the schemes and plays."
Yeah, I hate that how that kind of transpired with them. Because they seem like as far as the XFL team, the Vipers, they were always poised. They would get out to a big lead, or they would, have a lead, then all of a sudden they would lose, and then he would end up becoming the scapegoat. And now people are saying, "Oh, look how much better the offense is." I'm like, but
yeah,
yeah. As far as Jamie, let me ask you, Benedict, as far as with the weather and stuff, I know that played a big part, actually, probably in both games. The crowd that came out, and it sounds like the way it sounds in South Carolina was a lot worse than Huntsville or normal Alabama. But did they have a decent sized crowd, or is it kind of because of the weather? It was just
No, the weather definitely played a factor in the crowds. I mean, it was literally pouring down, raining, and I got there early. I got there maybe 10 o'clock, and so it poured from the time I got there until literally game time, which kicked off about 1 o'clock Eastern. And what ended up happening was crowds started coming in later, but it was more so just observing what was going on around the area, not really filing into the stadium like that. But I will tell you who did come. Success is definitely breeding new lookers, because it was several recruits there, several. I would say anywhere from 20 to 30. So it was one of those things where, people are looking at this school and saying, okay, I want to be part of this Benedict Tiger squad. When you look at the success from last year, even though they didn't have the playoff success that you were looking for, in being a number one seed, I think the way they do things, and Coach Barry, we interviewed him afterwards, and he talked about the way that the community has embraced this squad and embraced those individuals. And so just the way he does things, if you listen to Chennis Berry, he sounds like a Baptist preacher. I mean, he just does. He sounds like he's preaching all the time. And so, he has his cliches. He has those things where, he's preaching to those kids, but they are buying what he's saying, and the buy-in is real. It's nothing fake. You can see how infectious he was even at the Legacy Bowl in New Orleans in February. Like, their team won, but you could see just how infectious he is, and how they embrace what he preaches even in that short period of time. So with all those returners coming back, this squad is poised to win this conference again, or at least be back in the championship. Now the format's changed a little bit with them not having divisions anymore. So we'll see how that ends up. But Benedict is poised to make another run.
Mo, let me ask you kind of same question. I think by the time the game was, because I know I ended up having to go to Muscle Shoals. So it stopped raining, but it was misting and cold. Did the crowd show? Because I know Alabama A&M planned a whole day of events with the car show, the softball game. I think it was a doubleheader with the softball game and baseball. So did the crowd show up, or did the weather kind of keep people away as well?
So, yeah, Alabama A&M had a lot of things going on. There was going to be spring game, followed by the baseball game, followed by softball, the car show later on that evening. And it was also a huge high school recruiting week. So you look at the stands, clearly there were some faithful few that were in the stands for sure. Lots of parents for the most part who, brave the weather, brave the elements. And of course, on top of it raining and misting, it was cold too as
Right.
well, man. Like it was definitely in the 50s. Now baseball got rescheduled as far as like what the SWAC is doing to like reschedule a bunch of games that got called off this past weekend. And I think softball's going to do the same coming up. But one thing I will tell you is that high school recruiting weekend, if you go back and look on some of the Alabama A&M University social media posts for Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, man, the event center was packed with potential Bulldogs who, got a chance to get their financial aid information, hear from the president, hear from, various other folks. I just wish that those people would have been able to come over to the football game all in all. But look, I totally understand, if you don't want to brave the elements in certain situations, I totally get it. So, yeah, had it been sunny, a whole lot of those folks would have been inside of Louis Cruz Stadium. But there was a decent amount of people who did make their way to Louis Cruz Stadium, and also had a few former players, including one, Aquil Glass, who was roaming the sidelines as well.
I guess the question is the offensive identity for A&M this year. Last year, they had to rely more on the run. We know what it was under Glass. We know. But is Coach Maynard looking to go more towards ground and pound and open up the pass, or is he more looking to, hey, whatever happens, happens?
I think it's a little bit more of whatever happens, happens, but I'll also lean to more of a balanced attack. And what I say by that is this. I was very impressed with not only what Langford did, but also I was impressed with their rushing attack on the white team, which featured number 20, Kenny Wilkins, and also number 30, DJ Moffitt. Like, those guys were toting the rack all day, getting 2-3 yards before they even were getting touched most of the way. Shout out to the white team offensive line for making that happen. And one interesting thing about, Moffitt and also with Wilkins is that they bring different styles to the table to go along with, the starting running back from last year, Donovan Eaglin. So, when you kind of look at it, I mean, they've got a pretty good running back room, probably one of the better running back rooms they've had under Coach Maynard since there. So I would not be surprised if they try to rely on that rushing attack, to try to throw some people off here and there until the passing game can kind of supplement that in most cases. And what I mean by that is clearly Langford, seemed to have the chemistry going with some of the other wide receivers. I think he'll probably be a front runner for the summer competition at quarterback. Quincy Casey really didn't practice this much during spring. He had an injury and they decided to hold him out. So we'll see what happens or whatever with him. And then they had the transfer from Buffalo who came in. And, I think he's still trying to grasp the system just a little bit. Then on top of that, they've got a grad transfer quarterback coming from Northern Illinois who has played, meaningful snaps for Northern Illinois in the past. And then they're really high on this freshman quarterback that's 6'5" that will be here like first week of June, if I'm not mistaken. So lots of guys going to be in that QB room. It's just a matter of who's going to get in there and, find a way to win some games, but also run the offense efficiently. Coach Maynard will tell you each and every day, look, Quill Glass ain't walking back through that door. His little brother's on the team, but he plays tight end. So with that being said, yeah,
he can't just say a little bit.
I actually asked him that. He said, nah, man, he's good at tight end for the most part. So with that being said, he's just looking for a guy who can just, win them some games or whatever from the QB spot. And I mean, do I think that the current QB that we saw on Saturday that was lighting up in Xavier Langford, do I think he can make those things happen? I really do. He just has to eliminate the mistakes. And that's one thing we saw. He really did keep the mistakes to a minimum on Saturday. It's just a matter of, can he now go from being in a high place, continuing that through preseason camp and then into the season? That's something that we're just going to have to continue to watch out for.
All right. Let me ask this. What's something that you saw that they may or that Coach Maynard may have addressed that they may want to improve on going into summer, as far as what I guess a quote unquote weakness?
So he said that he's going to look at the transfer portal once it opens up in May, and he's going to try to fill some other needs. I still think they need another linebacker who has some experience to kind of go along with, the depth they've already got on that defensive line and offensive line. I know a lot of people were making a big deal about how he signed all these O linemen and D linemen like 2 years ago. Now those young men are either experienced or they've been on the squad to know what's at stake. So I think that's going to be a big portion of that. Along with those things in the trenches, I think he may be shooting for another DB or two, because when I looked at the DBs on Saturday, some guys made some pretty good plays. Some guys came up, made some big tackles, but I noticed there was a heavy rotation on both sides, white team and maroon team, when it comes to, DBs. And keep in mind, these are guys that could either be first, second, or third team, and they were rotating them in and out. So I don't know if they're actually stable in the defensive backfield. So I would not be surprised if I do see a DB or two, hop into the transfer portal and then make his way to Alabama A&M before the summer kind of gets going or whatever with that. And then clearly, if they can pick up another, lineman or two, that'll definitely be something that he can address the need with as well. And then on top of that, I have to go ahead and say this. He always does spring practice early, so you can knock it out the way so the guys can focus on academics and if they have injuries or whatever, because you just never know what happens with some guy. A guy may come back academically ineligible. He might not be able to qualify through the 40, 60, 80 rule when it comes to going towards your degree. And then, boom, they got to hop in that portal to have that backup person or somebody that may have to come in as well. So that'll be something we'll keep our eye out on in about a month's time when the new portal opens up for, so many whatever weeks.
Yeah. Kelly Flick says this. He said, facts, A&M did a good job retaining top talent. I can agree with that. But one thing that we all seem to know, top wide receivers. Wide receivers seem to come to A&M and they'll get some amazing talents, and then all of a sudden those guys leave. The biggest example of that is Tank Dell. How is it looking as far as the wide receiver room, or is that something that they're trying to address?
Yeah, they're definitely trying to address the wide receiver room. I mean, you talk about Tank Dell. I mean, they also lost a dude for Ty Ibrahim. They also lost OJ Hilaire prior to last season. Two guys that were racking up yak yards left and right. But Coach Manor has said this on with the On the Hill podcast, folks. He said, he was like, just nowadays with the new NIL situation, he's got to get guys that are going to stay in Huntsville, that are going to stay on the hill, whatever, because he was like, keep it real with you. Right now, they don't have the NIL money to just say, hey, we can give you this, or we can give you that, or you can earn this, or you can earn that. So, with that being said, it does become difficult. So because of that, the wide receiver room does look a little open, but then you do have a few guys who will have experience that are coming back. Like Keenan Hambrick's a guy, saw a lot of playing time last year, so he'll, be in the fold. Also, Terrell Gardner, he seemed like he's been around since the beginning of the Manor staff getting there. He recently came off of surgery, I think, like right before spring practice came. And, he had a few catches. He had a few drops that should have been catches. And you could tell he was upset with himself or whatever with that. And I think they kind of applauded him and be like, look, you take your responsibility, you move on with it, and you make it happen one way or another. But I would not be surprised if wide receiver room looks completely different than what we've seen from the past. And next man up mentality definitely has to be implemented in that group.
Okay. Jamie, let me ask this about Benedict. What are some areas of concern that they may have, or some areas that they want to improve on before getting to summer camp?
Well, just the fact that the quarterbacks get reps. They haven't named a starter yet. Of course, talked about them playing the two quarterbacks during the spring game. But when you lose someone like an Eric Phoenix, who was all SIAC, that's hard to replace. Even though they feel that the quarterbacks on the roster are capable, it's just a matter of seeing what they're going to do in game action. Also, again, I kind of mentioned it earlier. Losing 3 offensive line starters, is hard to replace as well. When you're talking about having a full running back room, which you have, your main guy in Noah Scotland. He's back, Jaden Taylor, and they have some new guys. They moved actual receiver to running back in Isaiah Rhodes. So I think they'll Israel Rhodes, excuse me. And so they have, people that can tote the mail, but it's a matter of having that offensive line continuity to go forward. I think defensively, they can use some more linebacker depth. As far as they have Dedrick Starks coming back, who was one of those key figures in that line in the linebacking core. And I mentioned Jaron Kilpatrick, but they have opposite him and just that defensive backfield in general could be improved. But they have a lot of starters coming back, 15 that I mentioned, along with your special teams folks as well. They have everyone pretty much in place. It's just a matter of the new guys coming in and gelling just like the previous team did. So offensive line will probably be number one, and just to see who's going to ascend as that starter at quarterback.
All right. What are some and I guess we probably have already covered it. So let's say some areas that hey, we ain't got no words at all for Benedict. I personally think defense is gonna carry them, especially the front half of the season, because nobody could solve it last year, and with what I'm saying, the talent they got returning, I don't see it.
Nah, that defensive line is legit, man. That defensive line, that front seven in general is legit. But the SIAC is changing. And so I think everybody's defensive backs and defensive backfields in general, that back half is going to need to be, even Kentucky State that was coming out and running the football and throwing maybe 3 or 4 passes a game. They have new blood with Felton Huggins coming in, from Rice. They're going to throw the ball all around the yard. Now, they got to get some personnel to be able to do it. But nobody's just going to come in and just run the football. It's not your daddy's SIAC. They're not going to ground and pound. They're going to throw the ball around. Aaron James down there in Tuskegee. You're talking about, he was the offensive coordinator, yes. But, him being the head coach now, different philosophies coming in. So we'll see what happens. But as far as Benedict is concerned, I think that defensive line is going to be able to both be stout at the point of attacking the run and be able to rush the passer. So I think, if you count what's that and don't need to be touched, that D line is legit.
All right. Well, fellas, I asked y'all what 15, 20 minutes. I think y'all gave me a little bit more. Now I appreciate that. As always, Mo, tell the people where they can find you.
Absolutely. You can find me on Twitter at Mo Carter Fox 54, and it's the same thing on Facebook. I'm the sports director of Fox 54 WZDX here in Huntsville, Alabama, and you go to fox54.com in about 30 minutes. You can actually watch my sportscast for the upcoming night. Unfortunately, no HBCU stuff this evening because we just had a whole lot of other stuff going on. But for the most part, we've got a lot of things Alabama A&M and sometimes Oakwood related here in the city of Huntsville.
Jamie, go ahead and tell the people they can hear the soul for this LB score.
There you go, man. There you go. You'll find me on Twitter, man, at SportVoiceJW. I'll be all around, man. Check me out on the Black College Sports Network, where I'll be at some more of these spring games. Definitely in the fall, you'll hear me and probably Mo as well, giving you the docile tones of play-by-play and color on various spots in the SIAC and possibly the SWAC. We'll see. But definitely, if you want to talk to me, hit me up on Twitter, SportVoiceJW.
All right, fellas, like I said, as always, appreciate it. Y'all gonna have to come up with a group name. Y'all can be like
I mean, look, if we come up with one, we got to come up with one that's not going to cause either one of us to just laugh every time.
Right.
Like, every time you even say Alfie score, I've been trying to hold it in because
See,
then
man,
I look at you. Because I look at Jamie and I'm like, golly, he really could be. Could be the cousin, man. But if you're gonna be Alfie score, what does that leave me? Does that make me Christopher Williams Jr. or something? Or
yes, that's exactly who it is. That's it. That's it. Now watch, we're gonna end up calling the game together this year, and that's gonna happen. We're gonna change our names. They're gonna be at the bottom. I'll be Albie Score. You'll be Christopher Williams Jr.
I got it. New Black City. There you go. Bam.
Wait, what'd you say?
New Black City. Instead of New Jack City.
Man, you was a trip poo for that
Yeah.
one. But look, speaking of spring games, look, it just crossed my mind because I just talked to him this morning. I actually I'm gonna be on Black College Sports Network this weekend with Miles College.
Okay.
So, and that was an assignment just assigned to me not too long ago by the boss man, Roy Evans, who is literally running around doing a whole lot of things.
Yes, he is, man.
And if you don't know, just go on the SIAC website and see the deals he has been able to work out with that conference recently, and you'll see why he is one of the.
All right, so Mo will be back next week to help us talk about Miles.
Yes, he will. I was supposed to be there, man. The baby got prom Saturday, man. So
yeah, I saw that. You was like, oh man, you gonna listen? Go ahead, get your shotgun, and like, you know what I'm saying, get the scare face ready. You know what I'm saying? And then get your tissue so you can cry when she leave, because we already know how that go.
Oh no, me and the wife following, man.
Oh, y'all.
She gets no freedom. Nah, I'm playing.
Hey, y'all'll be at prom too. Baby, we'll see you there.
Oh man, listen, you know how it is, man. Yeah, that's why people scared of this Freaknik documentary.
I told listen, it's gonna be some church folks. Sister Eltha gonna be she gonna be at church a couple Sundays, and you know what I'm saying, after that thing come out, after that doc come out, she definitely gonna miss a couple Sundays, and Deacon Riley too. Both of them gonna be.
I'm gonna just say this: I feel like some marriages are gonna be put to the test with this.
Yep.
The only way to get by with it is. Yeah, the only way to get by with it is be like, I met my husband at Freaknik.
Yeah, Lil Duval would post like pictures from like the 90s or something where he had a concert, and people be like, he'd be like, "Hey, who mama or auntie this is?" And I'd be like, "Oh, you finna get some people in trouble." Oh, you finna get some people in trouble. But fellas, man, again, I appreciate you. Appreciate y'all for coming through. We'll be back next. Well, actually, I was gonna say next week. We'll be back on Thursday with another episode of HBCU. I want to say thank y'all for joining us. This was presented to you by Bet Online, and like that, we out.